Since the last presidential election, a new wave of censorship is sweeping through American educational institutions, targeting literature that delves into the Black experience.
The latest to be pulled for review, a book about baseball legend Roberto Clemente. A passage in Roberto Clemente, Pride of the Pittsburgh Pirates, references the racism he faced in the U.S.
The attempted banning of books here in America. 4 of the 10 deal specifically with race and racism.
Under President Donald Trump's administration, executive orders aimed at eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known as DEI initiatives, led to the removal of numerous African-American authored books from school curricula and libraries. You know you're headed in a great direction in your country when you start getting rid of books. That's always the start of something great. The U.S. Naval Academy's Nimitz Library removed nearly 400 books as part of a directive from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, aligning with the Trump administration's efforts to eliminate DEI content from federal institutions. Among the banned are works by some of our treasured authors like Maya Angelou. But it's not like the Trump administration is handing out these orders. Local leadership around the country is taking aim at books exploring critical race theory, or just the Black experience in America. In today's episode, we'll look at some of these banned books. Hi, my name is Jarrett, and I talk about interesting stories and trends in the Black culture, because Black culture is just that interesting to me. If you share my interest, hit that subscribe button, and let's deep dive into some interesting Black culture and history in every episode. Let's start with one book that's made the top 3 list of most banned books. All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiley. All American Boys tells the story of 2 teenagers, one Black and one white, grappling with the aftermath of a police brutality incident. The novel has been challenged for its portrayal of law enforcement, with critics accusing it of promoting anti-police sentiments. In 2020, it ranked 3rd on the ALA's list of most commonly banned books. Under the current administration, the book has been removed from various school programs, with officials citing concerns over its divisive topics and sensitive matters. Other controversial points in this book include drug use, underage alcohol use, and profanity. I mean, do I really have to point out that there are plenty of other books that are taught in high schools that mention drug abuse and definitely have profanity in them, such as classics like The Catcher in the Rye, Speak, Looking for Alaska, and Perks of Being a Wallflower. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison's debut novel, The Bluest Eye, has long been a subject of controversy. The story of Bucola Breedlove, a young Black girl who yearns for blue eyes, confronts themes of racial self-loathing and SA. Critics have labeled the book as very explicit and unsuited for certain age groups, leading to its frequent appearance on the American Library Association's list of most challenged books. Under the Trump administration, the novel has faced renewed scrutiny, opponents arguing that its content was inappropriate for students. Despite its literary acclaim, including Morrison's Nobel Prize in Literature, The Bluest Eye was removed from several schools' reading lists and libraries. The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Angie Thomas's The Hate U Give follows Star Carter, a Black teenager who witnesses the police shooting of her unarmed friend. The novel addresses systematic racism and police violence, leading to its inclusion on multiple banned book lists. Critics have cited its pervasively vulgar language and alleged anti-police message as reasons for its removal from school curricula. In some districts such as Katy, Texas, the book was pulled from libraries due to its explicit content. The book was turned into a movie a few years back, just in case you guys forgot. Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes. Ghost Boys tells the story of Jerome, a 12-year-old Black boy killed by a police officer, who observes the aftermath of his death as a ghost. The novel has been challenged for its portrayal of racial injustice and its potential to make readers feel ashamed based on the color of their skin. Despite its aim to foster empathy and understanding, the book has faced bans in certain school districts. Michelle Obama, Political Icon by Heather E. Schwartz. This biography has been criticized for allegedly picking on former President Donald Trump, the man who picks on everybody on the planet. Some parents have called for its removal from school libraries, arguing that it presents a biased political perspective. The book's inclusion in educational settings has become a point of contention and broader debates over political content in school. When Wilma Rudolph Played Basketball by Mark Weekland. This children's book recounts the story of Wilma Rudolph, an African-American Olympic champion. A parent in suburban Dallas objected to the book, claiming it opines prejudice based on race. The challenge reflects a growing trend of scrutinizing educational materials that address racial issues, even in historical contexts. Now let's look at some books removed from the U.S. Naval Academy's library. And these are books that are just available at the library, not books anybody was forced to read. Starting with a classic here, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. Angelou's seminal autobiography detailing her early life and the challenges of growing up black and female in America was among the titles removed. The book is renowned for its candid exploration of racism, trauma, and resilience. This book was targeted because it's a foundational text in African American literature and feminist studies. Apparently telling your own story and the oppression that you faced while growing up in a racist society is now DEI and not just history. Absolutely nuts. At number 2, we have Half American by Matthew F. Delmont. This work highlights the contributions of African Americans during World War II, shedding light on their fight for freedom abroad while facing segregation and discrimination at home. Delmont's book is a meticulously researched, deeply moving historical account that highlights the contradictions Black Americans faced during World War II, fighting fascism abroad while enduring Jim Crow racism at home. Delmont publicly criticized the removal, stating, "It is deeply troubling to see a book that celebrates the patriotism and courage of African Americans who served this country in war being removed from military institutions. Their story is America's story." Number 3, A Respectable Woman by Jane E. DeBell. A Respectable Woman is a historical study that examines how Black women in New York during the 1800s navigated public life as community leaders, political activists, educators, and moral voices. DeBell's book highlights how race and gender intersect to shape public life, a concept closely associated with modern DEI scholarships. Intersectionality, while academically grounded, was targeted by the administration as a woke framework. Banning A Respectable Woman suggests that accurately portraying Black women's lives and contributions in American history is now considered politically problematic within federal institutions. It highlights the deeper concern that this wave of censorship isn't just about removing controversial content. It's about erasing perspectives that challenge a narrow, sanitized version of history. At number 4, we have Pursuing Trayvon Martin. Pursuing Trayvon Martin is a scholarly collection of essays, edited by George Yancey and Janine Jones, that explores the 2012 shooting of Trayvon Martin and its broader implications for race relations in America. You know, the day that Trump was elected, they ran to the library to probably remove this book. The book's content discussing white privilege, racial trauma, and institutional injustice was deemed inappropriate for cadets training to be military leaders, according to the Internal Review justifications. And these are just 4 out of the 400 books removed from the Naval Academy. And by the way, they've only been in office for what? 2 months when I'm making this video, 2 or 3 months. So who knows where they're gonna stop. The decision to remove these works has sparked criticism from educators, students, and civil rights advocates. Many argue that such actions erase essential narratives and hinder a comprehensive understanding of American history. Petitions have emerged urging that the Naval Academy reinstate the removed books. Obviously, in a functioning society, it is very important to have diverse perspectives in military education. This development at the Naval Academy reflects a broader trend of scrutinizing educational materials across military institutions, raising concerns about academic freedom and the representation of marginalized voices in historical discourse. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Obviously, I think this is completely crazy to go after books, especially ones that are historical. This isn't even opinion based. Like, this is things that actually happened. I'll catch you on the next one. Let's all get through this. This is crazy. I'll see you on the next one.